So he had already told me when we was together, he had like all these IDs and stuff, right? So I'm like, why the fuck do you have, oh, I'm missing my exit. I'm like, why do you have all these IDs? And he tell me like, you know, that's like a little side business he got or whatever. I don't know. He showed me like this man who looked like him, and he was telling me about the time he had got pulled over and the cop knew that he wasn't the man on the ID, but he couldn't prove it because he looked just like the man on the ID, but the man on the ID was like a doctor. That nigga don't look like no doctor. He don't look like nothing, but he don't look like no doctor, right? So he telling me all these stories. That's what he do, whatever. Now, mind you, in the midst of this, he is this girl, the crazy girl from the beginning. She done came and busted all his tires, busted all his TV screens in his house. I mean, he had like 65 of his TVs, 4 of them. She done busted all of them, busted his tires, busted TV screens. And I'm just like, is she pregnant? And he was like, no. I'm like, well, why is she acting so crazy over you? And he just like, oh, because she never met nobody like that. And I'm thinking in my head like, oh, you did to her what you did to me, and she couldn't take that shit, right? So that's what I'm thinking in my head. This is before I knew everything, remember? So, and he was telling me when I first met him that he got 4 kids and a possible. Now his kids is grown. This nigga, like, he lied about his age. He told me he was 40. He was really 44. But so his kids is like in their 20s, like, you know, they older. So when he said he got 4 kids and a possible, I'm thinking it's one of the older kids. I didn't know until after we broke up that the possible was because the girl was pregnant. That's the crazy bitch that was busting tires and busting faux flats and TV screens and shit, right? I didn't know that, and I didn't care to ask. I'm not the type of person that asks questions. You gonna tell me what you want me to know, and that's that. Like, if I have to ask, then you didn't want to tell me. If you wanted to tell me, I wouldn't have to ask, right? So I never asked no questions, and even if I did, he would have lied about it anyways. So anywho, so he's telling me how he's so mad at her. He hopes she die. Now let me insert this, because you know, words, spelling is the oldest form of black magic. You can speak curses over somebody's life. You know, you can speak bad with people like, oh, she's speaking down on my name. You praying on my downfall. That's a real thing. Like, that is literally a real thing. If you be like, oh, ain't nobody gonna ever want her. She ain't gonna never find no man. She gonna always find me, and that's, you're speaking a curse over somebody's life. A spelling. You're speaking a curse over somebody's life. And if you say it enough, you're literally praying that happens to that person. So this is before I do all this though, right? This is before I do all this. So as he talking about her, like, he like, oh, I'm gonna take her information and I'm gonna give it to my people in the islands, and I'm gonna order a whole bunch of iPhones in her name. I'm gonna fuck her credit up. I'm like, why are you so mad? Like, yeah, she fucked your shit up, but you say you got it, so go buy you some new motherfucking TVs and go buy you some more tires and leave a bitch alone, like I told you, right? He like, no, fuck that bitch. I hope she died. He like, I'm like, you gonna get this is me. This is before I knew everything. I'm like, you gonna get some bad juju. Like, you is putting bad. I knew that much about the universe. You putting bad into the universe, that same thing gonna happen to you, right? So I'm telling my cousin, we in the car, and he talk about the girls, me, him, and my cousin. I'm telling him, and I'm like, I keep telling him to stop talking about that girl like that. And he like, oh man, I know I be telling him too. He like, but he be in his own, you know, that's whatever. So I'm like, okay. So this is how he gets on the thing. I'm like, how you gonna get all these iPhones in her name? He like, that's when he started telling me about the IDs, and he got all her information and woo. So I forget why I was telling that part of the story. Hold on. I don't remember, and I'm driving, so I can't go back and like pause the video and like watch it over again. So whatever. So I already know that this is the type, the fleets of people, right? So this is how I know that this is what he does, because mind you, everything that he did to me, he told me, but I wasn't awakened. I didn't know that, you know, it was magic and spell work and, you know, whatever. So now, so he's gathering all these people to literally work around the clock. Do you hear me? Doing spell work on me, trying to take my destiny, trying to body swap, destiny swap, energy swap, energy harvest, energy vampire. Look it up, okay? So this is what he's doing to me. So, you know, I'm feeling drained. I don't know what's going on. My money's still fucked up. I'm like, well, you know, how the fuck do I get out of this shit? Like, how do I stop this from happening? You know, how do I get my life back, right? So I learned some more information. Oh, you gotta call judgment on the motherfucker. So what did I do? Man, I wrote that shit out, and I said that shit 3 motherfucking times. Okay, not playing with you. I done went to the little spiritual stores. I done got me sage. I done got me crystals to protect myself. I mean, all the stuff that they tell you is bad is what you actually need to survive in the world. Do you hear me? They make it seem like it's bad and you're not supposed to be doing it. But if you knew about the shit, half the shit you done went through in your life, it wouldn't have happened. When I tell you this shit runs deep, when I tell you the rabbit hole that I went down, I mean for like a whole year, I went down this rabbit hole trying to figure out what was this man's purpose. Then you know, it got me to a point where I'm like, damn, he doing all this. Who the fuck am I? So this is where they say, you know, remember who you are. What movie was that? Remember who you are. Whatever movie that was. Remember who the fuck you was. Who were you in your past life? You know, a lifetime. From the time you born to the time you die. Who was you before you came back this lifetime, right? So that's what I had to figure out. Why the fuck was this nigga going so hard on me? You're not about to tell me you doing all this because I left you, right? So then I find out not only was he taking my energy and harvesting it for his crackhead bitch and their family, right? And whoever else he was harvesting it for, he also told this coven he's done this before. I'm not the first person he did this to. He's done it before. Only difference is the people he's done it to before, it worked. It didn't work on me. So that pissed him off, because who the fuck is this bitch to think that my magic is not strong enough to take her out? I know my magic. This is I'm imagining how he was, right? And on top of that, he done promised this coven of people that he could sacrifice me, right? Literally sacrifice. It doesn't only happen in the music industry, okay? It happens in real everyday life, right? So he telling these people, he can do it. It's not working. Now, mind you, he lying to them. I done left the man. He lying to them and got them thinking that we're still together and, you know, everything's still good and he's still working on it. Not only that, I know it's like a big ego thing. Like, right? I'm guessing. I don't know. So he trying to figure out how he can take me down. So when he was with me, it didn't work. Right? He couldn't do it by himself. So he thought, oh, if I can't do it by myself, I get a whole bunch of people to gang up on her. And that's what's gonna work, right? Y'all see I'm still here, right? So he done gathered all these people. Now, he done gathered these people, but the way he gathered these people, he done put spells on them. He done did magic on them to make them go hard on me. Because anybody in their right mind would be asking questions, trying to figure out, why is this man trying to take me out? So in order to eliminate that, he not only was doing spell work on them to get them to work with him. How about the crackhead bitch, right? That he left me for her, right? She was doing work on him, right? Because she even knew. So this is the thing. Me and him were literally twin flame soulmates, divine counterparts, whatever you want to call it, right? That was us. We were supposed to be together, like his ancestors, my ancestors, all arranged. I was supposed to clear his bloodline, his lineage, you know, of all the bad karma that they had. And we were supposed to, we had a goal to accomplish in this world together. But he was karmic. Look it up. So he was karmic, and I didn't know that, right? I didn't know none of this in the beginning, remember? So he was supposed to be my divine counterpart. We were supposed to do all this together. We were supposed to have a kid. Which I think he knew, because he even told me that he was getting readings on me. This is before I knew anything about this, right? So he would tell me, oh, y'all called my friends in the island, and, you know, he didn't say he got a reading on me, but he got a reading on me. And they told me this about you. He like, I know you're a good person, this and that. I'm like, well, shit, I want to talk to them. I want to know what's in my future. He like, no. I'm like, what you mean, no? And he didn't say it like, nah, you know, he was like, no. Like, but this is before I do anything. And I'm thinking in my head, like, nigga, why can't I how you getting a reading on me, but I can't get a reading on myself, right? Because they would have told me everything that was going to fuck on, right? And of course he didn't want that to happen. So he was just like, no. He's like, don't worry, everything's gonna be all right. Now, mind you, not only did these people tell him who I was to him, they also told him that if you take these actions against me, it's not gonna be good, right? He thought that he would be able to go in and change the trajectory of my